High Plains Drifter wasn't just a Western. It was a dark, haunting tale of revenge that left audiences stunned. Clint Eastwood's mysterious stranger became one of the genre's most unforgettable figures. But decades later, the real story behind those iconic faces is just as fascinating. Time changed their lives in ways no one expected. Some stars remained legends, others disappeared from the spotlight, and some are gone forever. Now, we revisit the cast then and now in 2026, and uncover what really happened to them. Dave Drake, he stares down the empty street with fear creeping beneath forced confidence. Knows judgment is finally riding back into town in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Mitchell Ryan. Born on January 11, 1934, in Cincinnati, Ohio, he was 39 when the film was released, bringing weathered intensity to the role. His defining career moment later came with Dark Shadows and countless television dramas that showcased his commanding screen presence. A devoted actor, his life faced a major turning point when he overcame alcoholism and rebuilt his career. He passed away on March 4, 2022, at 88, by congestive heart failure, leaving behind a presence that made every quiet stare feel dangerous. Mayor Jason Hobart, he nervously tries to bargain for safety while fear spreads through the town like wildfire in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Stefan Gierasch. Born on February 5, 1926, in New York City, he was 47 when the film begins, bringing anxious realism and moral weakness to the role. A defining character actor of the 1970s, he built a respected career through memorable performances in films like Jeremiah Johnson and Carrie. Living largely outside celebrity culture, he remained devoted to the craft of acting. Stefan Gierasch passed away on September 6, 2014, at 88 from stroke, leaving behind a presence that made guilt feel impossible to hide. Morgan Allen, the moment he watches the stranger ride into town with uneasy suspicion, sensing trouble before anyone dares say it aloud in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Jack Ging. Born on November 30, 1931, in Alva, Oklahoma, he was 41 when into the role, bringing grounded toughness to the role. His defining career stretched across television classics like The A-Team and Tales of Wells Fargo, where his steady screen presence became instantly recognizable. A former Marine and devoted family man, he balanced Hollywood with a disciplined personal life. He passed away on September 9, 2022, at 90, leaving behind a presence that never needed loud heroics, only quiet strength. Louis Belding, he nervously follows the crowd's fear instead of his own conscience, becomes another face trapped inside the growing dread of High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Ted Hartley. Born on November 6, 1924, in Omaha, Nebraska, he was 48 when into the film, bringing quiet realism to the role. Beyond acting, his defining career moment came later as chairman of RKO Pictures, helping revive the historic studio's legacy. A former Navy pilot and devoted family man, his life reflected discipline and reinvention. He passed away on October 10, 2025, at 100, leaving behind a presence that witnessed nearly a century of Hollywood change. Mordecai, he nervously measures cloth while chaos brews outside his shop, brings a fragile humanity to the eerie world of High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Billy Curtis. Born on June 27, 1909, in Springfield, Massachusetts, he was 64 when the film was released, bringing warmth and quiet vulnerability to the role. A defining character actor across decades, he became widely recognized for memorable appearances in fantasy and Western films, including The Wizard of Oz. Living much of his life overcoming barriers in Hollywood as a little-person actor, he built a lasting career through resilience and personality. Sadly, he passed away on November 9, 1988, at 79, leaving behind a presence small in stature, but unforgettable in spirit. Stranger, he rides out of the shimmering horizon with cold eyes and unfinished vengeance trailing behind him in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Clint Eastwood. Born on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California, he was 43 when into the role, creating one of the most haunting figures of his career. Already iconic from the Dollars trilogy, this film became a defining moment in his evolution as a director, blending Western myth with psychological darkness. His life reflected decades of reinvention and endurance. As of 2026, at 95, Clint Eastwood remains a presence that never simply played legends. he turned them into shadows that linger forever. Sarah Belding, the moment she stands apart from the frightened townspeople, refusing to surrender her conscience to fear in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Verna Bloom. Born on August 7, 1938, in Lynn, Massachusetts, she was 35 when the film begins, bringing quiet strength and emotional honesty to the role. Her defining career moment came through collaborations with Clint Eastwood and Martin Scorsese, especially The Last Temptation of Christ. A devoted stage and screen actress, her life later faced a difficult turning point with dementia. Sorrowfully, she passed away on January 9, 2019, at 80 due to dementia, leaving behind a presence that never shouted for courage. She simply lived it. Stacy Bridges, he rides back into town with vengeance already written across his face, feels like the past refusing to stay buried in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Geoffrey Lewis. Born on July 31, 1935, in Plainfield, New Jersey, he was 37 when into the film, bringing wild unpredictability and menace to the role. His defining career came through a long collaboration with Clint Eastwood in films that turned him into one of Hollywood's most recognizable character actors. A father of 10, including actress Juliette Lewis, his life balanced creativity with personal complexity. Regrettably, he passed away on April 7, 2015, at 79 by heart attack, leaving behind a presence that made danger feel strangely alive. Ludi Naylor, he nervously watches the town unravel around him, knowing fear has already poisoned every corner of Lego in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Paul Brinegar. Born on December 19, 1917, in Tucumcari, New Mexico, he was 55 when the film was released, bringing weathered authenticity to the role. His defining career moment came earlier as Wishbone in Rawhide, where his warm, dependable presence made him a beloved television figure. A devoted character actor across decades of westerns, he built a steady life far from Hollywood glamour. He passed away on March 27, 1995, at 77 form emphysema, leaving behind a presence that made the Old West feel worn, human, and real. Sheriff Sam Shaw, he stands frozen between duty and fear, knowing the town's sins are finally coming due in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Walter Barnes. Born on January 8, 1918, in Parkersburg, West Virginia, he was 55 when the film was released, bringing imposing authority and quiet tension to the role. Before acting, his defining career began in professional football, later evolving into memorable appearances across westerns and television dramas. A devoted family man and performer, he carried discipline from sports into Hollywood. Heartbreakingly, he passed away on January 22, 1998, at 80, leaving behind a presence that made even silence feel heavy with consequence. Callie Travers, she watches the stranger with wary fascination, caught between fear and temptation in the haunted town of Lego in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Marianna Hill. Born on February 9, 1942, in Santa Barbara, California, she was 31 when the film was released, bringing mystery and emotional tension to the role. Her defining career moment also included The Godfather Part 2, where her memorable presence expanded her cult legacy. She pursued acting with quiet persistence across decades. Now, at 84, Marianna Hill remains a presence that made the strange atmosphere of Lego feel even more haunting. Preacher, he quietly warns of judgment while the town sinks deeper into fear, feels less like a man and more like a reckoning in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Robert Donner. Born on April 27, 1931, in New York City, he was 42 when the film begins, bringing eerie authenticity to the role. A defining face of television westerns, he later became widely recognized Mork and Mindy, revealing his unexpected comedic side. A lifelong working actor devoted to his craft, he built a career through persistence rather than stardom. He passed away on June 8, 2006, at 75 due to heart attack, leaving behind a presence that made strange stories feel hauntingly real. Cole Carlin, he rides into Lego with a cold grin and revenge already burning behind his eyes in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Anthony James. Born on July 22, 1942, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, he was 31 when the film was released, bringing a haunting, razor-thin menace to the role. His defining career grew from unforgettable villain performances in films like In the Heat of the Night and Unforgiven, where his unsettling screen presence became legendary. A gifted painter as well as actor, he later stepped away from Hollywood to focus on art. Anthony James passed away on May 26, 2020, at 77 from cancer, leaving behind a presence that made evil feel disturbingly calm. Barber, the moment he nervously trims hair while fear quietly spreads through Lego, feels like a man clinging to normal life in a town already haunted in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by William O'Connell. Born on May 12, 1929, in Los Angeles, California, he was 44 when the film was released, bringing uneasy realism and dark humor to the role. He became closely associated with Clint Eastwood films through his unforgettable supporting performances. Living much of his life outside celebrity culture, he remained devoted to steady character work. He passed away on January 15, 2024, at 94, leaving behind a presence that made strange frontier towns feel hauntingly alive. Jake Ross, he rides into Lego with a shotgun across his lap and violence already written across his face in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by John Quade. Born on April 1, 1938, in Kansas City, Kansas, he was 35 when the film was released, bringing raw menace and rough-edged intensity to the role. His defining career grew through frequent collaborations with Clint Eastwood in gritty westerns and action films, where he became a memorable screen heavy. Living largely outside Hollywood glamour, he built a steady career through toughness and authenticity. He passed away on August 9, 2009, at 71 due to heart attack, leaving behind a presence that made danger feel dusty, brutal, and very real. Dan Carlin, he rides into Lego with ruthless confidence. Certain fear alone will keep the town under control in High Plains Drifter, was portrayed by Dan Vadis. Born on January 3, 1938, in Shanghai, China, he was 35 when the film was released, bringing towering physical presence and raw aggression to the role. Before acting, his defining path began in bodybuilding, later leading to a career in action and Western films throughout the 1960s and 70s. A longtime friend and collaborator of Clint Eastwood, he built a rugged Hollywood identity far from glamour. He passed away on June 11, 1987, at 49, by drug overdose, leaving behind a presence that made violence feel sudden and unstoppable. Thank you for riding back through the haunting world of High Plains Drifter with us. Though the years have passed, its mystery and legacy still endure. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, subscribe, and share your favorite moments below.